So are Harleys still like tractors? I'll tell you all about it inside.
RevelatorAlf.
Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf. I hope you enjoy the channel and the series of videos. Please like, share, subscribe, leave loads of comments below. Check out the website RevelatorAlf.com. So in this video I'm talking about the perception that Harley Davidson motorcycles are just old technology. It's from the past. You know, they're very basic, they're very agricultural. Yes, they're just from the tractor world, if you like. Well, I don't know about you, but if you know anything about modern farming, tractors are very advanced these days. Lots of electronics on board, and yeah, these things can even drive themselves, would you believe? Well, actually, the same can be said of Harley Davidsons as well. Yes, it's still got the V-twin motor. Yes, predominantly most of them are air-cooled. But actually, on board these motorcycles now, they're actually very electronic. You know, carburetors have gone. Now it's lots of fuel injection. There's sensors galore all over the bike. And it's all controlled by electronic modules. You know, you've got the ECM, the BCM, you've got the ABS module, you've got one regulator, another regulator. You know, it's a seemingly endless list of electrical components on the bike that make the bike run right and also ride right, or the engine run right and the bike ride right. You know what I mean. So what are these sensors? Well, you've got the engine temperature sensor, you've got the temperature manifold absolute pressure sensor, you've got the crankshaft position sensor, you've got the twist grip sensor, you've got, oh crikey, what else have you got? Lots of sensors, lots of electrical stuff. So when people say to me, oh yeah, the Harley Davidsons, they're old technology. Well, maybe they once were. But if you're looking at newer bikes, let's just take the Softail range, which I ride the Sport Glide. If you take that bike itself and ignore the fact that the older technology part is just the V-twin motor, everything else on the bike is actually new tech. The chassis is new tech, new design. It's new, very stiff, very nimble. It's got monoshock rear suspension, which is better for handling, better for balance, better for suspension. Travel in many ways. You can still have that kind of old school hardtail look to a certain degree, but you still got rear suspension there. The actual engine control is, you know, as I say, it's all electrical from the ECM. You know, everything within that motorcycle is controlled electronically. You've got anti-lock braking system, ABS, which is, you know, for some motorcycles is a relatively new thing. Actually, over here in Europe, it was made mandatory on all new motorcycles. Maybe that's where there's a bit of a discrepancy between European bikes or global bikes and American bikes, where in some areas it wasn't mandatory for new motorcycles. So it might be an option on your bike still. Or when you bought it, it might have been an option. Now, actually over here, it's mandatory. But that's kind of relatively old technology, but for Harley Davidsons, that's actually been incorporated now. Fuel injection. Fuel injection has replaced the carburetors of old. Now, that's not to say that fuel injection is necessarily better or it's less cumbersome than carburetors, but it is in line with other bikes or other manufacturers. So if we take the Harley Davidson motorcycle, the Softail, the Sport Glide, which I ride, and you compare it, let's say, with a Japanese, Italian or German, yes, there is still a big gulf in technology. There's a big gulf in engineering design and also engineering performance. However, they're two different bikes, or they're different styles of bikes. They ask different questions. and they attract different types of riders, or the same kind of riders who just want a different riding experience. You can get V-twin motors from, the Japanese, from the Italians, from the Germans. Virtually every manufacturer does a V-twin or a parallel twin. Let's say in the case of the British Triumph manufacturers, for example, the parallel twin. But it's essentially just a twin motor. If you've got the Italian Moto Guzzi, they've got a V-twin, but it's a horizontally opposed, if you like, or laterally opposed, as opposed to longitudinally opposed, which is the Harley Davidson or the Indian model, if you like. So whilst other manufacturers, they might have 3-cylinder, 4-cylinder, 4-stroke engines, they also have the V-twins as well, because you're asking a different thing from the motorcycle riding public. They either want that sort of four-cylinder, 3-cylinder, very smooth, sportier engine, higher revving engine, or you want that kind of lolloping, lumping, vibrating feel from a V-twin. The M8 engine on the Harley Softails, well, on the Harley Davidson in general, that's been incorporated in the Tourers and also the Softails. It's a very smooth running engine, the way it was designed. Yes, it had problems. Yes, there was a lot of people out there who didn't like it, that it went from the dyno engine to the M8, the whole host of issues. But actually, that's not dissimilar to any new leap from any manufacturer, any engineering leap. You're always going to have teething issues. You're always going to have new problems that arrive from a new engine design. Doesn't matter how much bench testing occurs, it's only when it enters the field, then you start doing field testing and prolonged field testing. That's when, us members of the public, we start to determine what issues are with certain bikes, certain chassis, or obviously certain engines. But they are not agricultural. They are not old technology anymore. In fact, it's almost like a fusion of older technology and newer technology now. That's the landscape at which Harley Davidson occupies right now. It's a bit of old, it's a bit of new, there's a marriage in the middle, and that's the kind of bike that we're getting now. And they're working on that premise with this new style of engine, the M8. There are plans for, or there are certainly patents that have been released for a new type of Milwaukee type engine. Okay, it could be, I don't know, it could be an M10, an M9, whatever, who knows. But it's another one that they're saying it's going to be a higher revving engine and that's going to boost power and torque. We know that this new engine coming out next year that's going to go into the Pan America Adventure bike, the Street Fighter, and also the Custom as well, that's going to be liquid cooled. That is going to be, a water cooled engine. So they've definitely got the know-how and the ability to make these kind of engines, and also engines that can be modular, that can be changed and fitted into other bikes. Triumph have been doing this for years with their newer bikes. The same engine in lots of different motorcycle models. It makes sense. It makes sense to have a single engine that can be slightly modified for different applications. That's where Harley Davidson are going with that. This new roads thing, this attracting new riders and going into different types of riding, that's the way forward for Harley Davidson. Let's not forget that Harley have even tossed their hat into the electric bike ring with the live wire as well. With the tech on that is absolutely amazing, or will be amazing. But, we're at the threshold of electric motorcycles and how that's going to evolve. Every 6 months, every year, there'll be a new evolution. There's going to be new changes to that live wire, no doubt. You know, the news now is that the motorcycle explorers, adventurers, TV adventurers, if you like, Charlie Borman and Ewan McGregor, are going to be using live wires to do their new series, the long way up from South America all the way up to North America, on live wires that have only got about 140-mile range, absolute maximum, possibly more likely 100. How are they going to do en route charging? Who knows? We'll find out. If you're watching this in the future, after this has already been done, you'll know how they did it. But it's going to be a monumental challenge as we face it right now. So technology is there. Harley Davidsons, as I say, they're in this space now where they're fusing new and old. They once were lumping tractor-like agricultural machinery, but there was a beauty in the simplicity. But now they're embracing the new, and they've had to embrace the new because people want different things. They want better things. They want better running engines. They want more reliable engines. They want engines that are better manufactured. And you know, Harley have evolved, there is no doubt. And their processes have evolved, and they've got better at it. Yes, you know, you could compare bike for bike, but I personally think, as I've said in previous videos, you should never compare a Harley with another bike. You should never compare a Ducati with another bike, a Triumph. They are their own bikes. It's your own personal preference whether you think one is better than the other or whether one suits you more than the other. But fundamentally, when people say, oh, my Ducati is so much better than your Harley, well, that's just a nonsense, in my opinion, a nonsense comparison, because they're totally different bikes, totally different engineering, totally different performance characteristics and applications in most cases. So, you know, when people say that Harley are locked in the past, they're not. Far from it. Actually, they are one of the front runners now of this new evolution. They've got many prongs to their fork, if you like. They've got the fusion aspect. They've got new engine development aspect. They've got electric bike aspect as well. Not many manufacturers are that far advanced. Not many other manufacturers have got a rolling prototype that has actually come to production of an electric bike. Harley have. Not many others haven't. Not many of the main manufacturers haven't. They're not that far advanced. Kawasaki, Honda, you know, Suzuki, Yamaha, Ducati, whatever, Triumph, do they have this bike at that level? Ignore electric scooters and things like that, of course. I'm talking about, you know, a higher range bike. So the technology is there, and then Harley are there with it. The problem with Harley is that they haven't completely, it's not a problem, let me rephrase that. The aspect of Harley is that they haven't abandoned their heritage and their roots of, you know, air-cooled and V-twin engines. And that's where people say, well, they're just so far behind because they're still using that old technology engine. But actually, they've evolved that engine, that concept. And they've worked in that arena, and they will continue to work in that arena because that is their mainstay, that is their heritage, that's what people want, you know, from their technology. But the V-twin engine isn't the same V-twin engine from 1945 or 1950 or 1960 or 70 or whatever. They've moved on so much from then. Anyway, this is my 2 pennies worth. Because I hear it all the time, and I probably look at these things in a more balanced view than other people. Some people have never even ridden a Harley, never even ridden a V-twin motor engine, and then they'll be very disparaging, very condescending about it. Others have only ever ridden V-twins, and they're just totally dismissive of any sort of inline four-cylinder engine, maybe Japanese, whatever. Lots of people have lots of different opinions, and some have opinions based upon no actual experience of it themselves. I've been fortunate in that I've been able to ride lots of different bikes in my life, lots of different types of bikes, and all I can keep on thinking about is that each individual bike is an individual bike. It's very hard to compare like for like, even within the same genre of bike. It's very hard because they all have their own qualities and they all have their own specific pros and cons. In an ideal world, you'd have the best bits from every single bike in the world and you kind of put that into a brand new bike. But life's not like that, is it? Anyway, let me know what you think. Let me know about Harley Davidson technology. Do you think it's still stuck in the past, or do you think it's going in the right direction? Do you think the direction in which it is going is not to your liking? Anyway, hope you like that. Please like, share, subscribe, leave loads of comments below. Check out the website RevelatorAlf.com, and I'll catch you on the next video coming, well, very, very soon. Ta-da.
RevelatorAlf.